Have you ever been around someone who says all the right things, but something inside you still feels uneasy? They smile when you walk in. They laugh at your jokes. They're never directly rude or disrespectful, and yet their presence feels cold. The vibe is off. You find yourself questioning everything. Am I overthinking? Why do I feel so awkward around them? Did I do something wrong? Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology, believed that much of human interaction is influenced by the unconscious, parts of the mind that lie beneath our awareness. He taught us about the persona, the social mask we wear to hide our true feelings, and the shadow, the hidden, often uncomfortable emotions we repress. Some people are deeply uncomfortable with conflict, so instead of being honest about their dislike, they wear a mask of politeness, but the shadow leaks through in subtle ways. A fleeting glance, a tone of voice, a hesitation, small cracks in their performance. And here's the twist. You can feel it. Even if you don't consciously recognize it yet, your nervous system usually picks up on the tension and starts sounding the alarm. That discomfort you feel, it's not in your head. It's real. In this video, we're going to explore 5 psychological signs that someone dislikes you, but is doing their best to hide it. Once you learn to see them, it becomes easier to protect your peace, trust your instincts, and stop giving energy to people who don't truly value you. Let's begin. Sign number 1. Forced friendliness. This is the kind of friendliness that looks right on the surface, but feels off underneath. They smile, but it doesn't reach their eyes. They say, "Oh, it's so good to see you," but their tone sounds like they're reading from a script. They nod while you talk, but their body is tense, their posture closed, and their eye contact just a bit too controlled. It's all very subtle, and that's what makes it confusing. You might leave thinking, they were nice, right? But your gut says otherwise. Carl Jung explained this as a conflict between the persona and the shadow. The persona is the social mask people wear, the polite, friendly exterior they present to fit in or avoid conflict. But beneath that mask lies the shadow, the hidden feelings they don't want to show, like dislike, irritation, or discomfort. When someone dislikes you but wants to avoid confrontation or appear the bigger person, their persona takes over, creating that forced friendliness. Yet the shadow still leaks out through subtle, non-verbal cues. Psychologists call this non-verbal leakage, when the truth slips out through body language, tone, or fleeting micro-expressions. Even if their words are kind, our brains are wired to detect this emotional inconsistency, the mismatch between the friendly mask and the shadow underneath. That's why something feels off, even if you can't explain why. So if someone's friendliness feels rehearsed, shallow, or too perfect, it might not be real. It's the persona trying to cover the shadow, but the unconscious mind can't fully hide the truth. Sign number 2. Backhanded compliments. You know the kind of comment that sounds like praise, but somehow still makes you feel small. Like, "You're actually pretty smart. I wasn't expecting that." Or, "Wow, you really pull off that outfit. I never could wear something so bold." On the surface, it's a compliment, but underneath, there's a sting, a subtle dig, a hint of judgment. Backhanded compliments are a passive-aggressive way to express dislike without being openly mean. It gives the speaker cover. If you react, they'll say, "What? I was just being nice." Or worse, "You're too sensitive." This tactic is often used by people who want to mask their resentment or superiority, especially in social or professional settings where open conflict isn't allowed. Psychologically, it's a form of covert hostility, a way to reassert power without risking social consequences. But the emotional impact is real. You walk away confused, off balance, and doubting yourself. If someone often makes you feel subtly insulted, even when their words seem fine, it's not just your imagination. They may not be complimenting you. They might just be hiding a grudge behind a smile. Sign number 3, subtle exclusion. This one doesn't involve words. It's about what's left out. You notice they leave you out of casual group plans. You hear about conversations, jokes, or events after they've already happened, or you're included, but barely. No eye contact, no follow-up questions. You're just there, not really part of the dynamic. Subtle exclusion is one of the most emotionally painful forms of social rejection because it's quiet, deniable, easy to gaslight. Carl Jung taught that the shadow often expresses itself through avoidance and withdrawal rather than direct confrontation. When someone dislikes you but won't admit it, they may unconsciously use subtle exclusion to create distance. You might think, maybe they just forgot to invite me. Maybe I'm being too needy. Or maybe I don't belong here. But here's what's actually happening. When someone dislikes you but doesn't want to say it directly, they often create distance through avoidance. It's a form of relational aggression, the same kind often seen in middle school, but more polished in adulthood. Rather than confront you or admit their feelings, they freeze you out slowly, removing warmth, attention, and connection until you get the message yourself. It's painful and confusing because no one's doing anything wrong, and yet you feel like you're on the outside looking in. If you constantly feel invisible around someone, it's possible that's exactly how they want you to feel. Before we continue, please take a moment to like this video. Your support helps more people discover these ideas. And if you're enjoying this journey into the mysteries of the mind, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Now, back to the video. Sign number 4, micro-irritations. They don't yell, they don't argue, they don't even say anything mean, but somehow you get the constant sense that you're annoying them. They sigh when you speak, they interrupt you, but only you. They correct small details that don't really matter, or they respond with tight smiles and clipped tones like they're trying to stay polite, but barely holding it together. This is what psychologists call emotional leakage, when suppressed frustration slips through in tiny, unspoken ways. These moments aren't loud, but they accumulate. It might be something as simple as you join a conversation and their body tenses just slightly. You make a joke, and they don't laugh, just raise an eyebrow. You ask a question, and they answer, but their tone is flat, almost dismissive. Over time, these micro-reactions build a clear message. You're not welcome, even if they never say it out loud. And here's the hard part. When you bring it up, they'll deny it. They'll say, I didn't do anything, and technically they didn't. That's what makes it so confusing and so emotionally exhausting. But your nervous system catches what your brain wants to overlook. If someone is constantly irritated by your presence, even in small, deniable ways, believe the feeling. Sign number 5, no real curiosity. Think about someone you genuinely like. You want to know how they're doing. You ask about their interests. You remember little things they told you, even weeks later. Curiosity is the simplest form of connection. When someone likes you, they show it by caring about your world, even in small ways. But when someone secretly dislikes you, that curiosity disappears. They might ask surface-level questions out of politeness, but they never follow up, never go deeper. They rarely ask how you felt about something. Worse, they may change the subject when you're speaking, or seem distracted, like they're just waiting for their turn to talk. It's not what they say that tells the truth, it's what they don't ask. And this isn't just a personality difference. Even introverts show interest in people they care about. The absence of curiosity is often the presence of emotional distance. Carl Jung would say, this lack of genuine interest reflects a disconnection from the self and the other, a barrier built by the unconscious shadow to keep distance and protect themselves from uncomfortable feelings. True connection requires openness and curiosity, which the shadow quietly blocks when dislike is involved. So if someone never seems interested in your thoughts, your stories, or your feelings, they might not be indifferent. They might be hiding dislike behind polite disengagement. Individually, These signs might seem small, but together they add up. And maybe the hardest part, we often try to explain them away. We say, maybe they're just tired, or maybe I'm imagining things. But our bodies, our intuition, often know the truth before our minds do. Carl Jung believed that much of what we sense, but don't immediately understand, comes from our unconscious, a deep part of ourselves that picks up on emotional realities others try to hide. That gut feeling isn't random. It's your unconscious mind alerting you to a deeper truth. Here's the thing. You don't need everyone to like you, but you do deserve to be around people who respect you, value you, and make you feel at ease, not confused or on edge. Pay attention to how you feel after you spend time with someone. If you leave feeling small, drained, or invisible, that's not connection. That's quiet rejection. And the more we learn to recognize these signs, the more we protect our energy and make space for relationships that are real. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing for more insights into human behavior, relationships, and the psychology beneath the surface. And remember, you are allowed to walk away from people who smile to your face, but shrink your spirit behind your back. See you in the next video.